need a motion to appoint Debbie Sizemore to the Open Space and Recreation Committee, who obviously is already approved by the Recreation Committee. But I need the motion, please.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Anybody have any questions on Deborah Sizemore being appointed to the committee?
I did have an opportunity to meet Ms. Sizemore at the Open Space Committee meeting the other night. She lives right near the Arboretum, very much involved in all the activities around there. Her children grew up playing in the Arboretum and so forth. They're gone now, but she just wants to make sure that's available for people in the future, in other areas of the township as well. She knew how much the open spaces were important to her children and their upbringing, and is anxious to continue that.
That's good. All right. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion to approve the waiver request for MG Land Management LLC. You have the packet in your appointment, which is actually gonna explain the waiver and what they're requesting. Anybody, I need a motion to approve, or motion to open first.
What do you need?
I need a motion to open the approval waiver request.
I'll make that motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Anybody have any questions in regards to this waiver request we received?
Yeah, quick question.
Yep.
They were before the planning and zoning before, and they received everything they asked for. What they're asking for now is exactly what?
Hi, I'm John Aston, the survey and engineer that's working with MG. MG is Martin Guevara. They got a zoning board approval for a variance to have a home occupation and for a pole barn. And so now this is the follow-up process of the grading, the drainage, and soil erosion and sediment controls that would go along with putting up a new building. Now, it is a home occupation, so it's residential, but because the landscape is there too, that's commercial. So the township could ask them to do a land development plan, but because it's low end, they're only allowed to have 3 employees, and so it has to go with the home occupation. We're asking to do the soil erosion and sediment controls and grading and drainage. We would do that part of it as a grading permit, but we're asking not to have to do an actual land development plan. There's buffers on either side, and the back of the pole barn has to be 200 feet away. There's residential development in the back, so 200 feet away. So they're not really anything near anything. Where the property is located, it's at the northeast corner of Farmington Avenue and the on-ramp to Route 100. So Route 100 ramp is on one side. Like I said, they have to be 200 feet from development in the back. On the side away from Route 100, there's nothing there right now, but they still must give a 25-foot buffer. So the house is in the front. If you drive past on the street, what you're gonna see is a house. You know what I mean? So the new barn will be in the back, separated from everything. That's all they're asking is to be able to do the grading and drainage and soil erosion sediment control plan, but not to have to go through land development.
If the board was inclined to do so, I would recommend your motion be conditioned on compliance with the letter from LTL dated March 10th of 2026.
That's the one in our packet, actually, shows they reviewed everything and they agree with
They
giving the
support.
waivers.
I think it's just the
Would
one
it be
waiver.
wise to look at the property and see?
It's already been looked at by LTL. Our engineers actually did take care of
Okay,
it.
and they're in agreement with it?
Can we have Mark chime in here?
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did take a look at the plan originally, and John Aston here did have to revise it to conform with the zoning hearing board exhibit, and he did that. And everything kind of falls in line. Like he said, there's already existing screenings there, and they're going to, as part of this waiver, do the stormwater, which is probably the biggest part of this. So, we could support this waiver,
Support it then.
yes.
Conditions just that they have to submit the stormwater and grading plans to be reviewed.
Correct, you're not approving the plan, they're going to have to resubmit the grading and drainage plan, and we'll review that and issue a letter, and as long as they follow that, that's not a problem.
All right.
It does not lessen the amount of work or the requirements of that project.
It's just you're avoiding a meeting.
All right, so if we, I forget who made the initial motions. Was that you and I?
It was Dave and Tyrone.
Oh, Tyrone, I'm
Tyrone,
sorry,
yeah.
okay. But we're including the contingent upon.
Correct,
the
we're
letter.
going to continue the letter being stormwater grading plans are as submitted and reviewed. And then once they're reviewed, that they obviously keep up to the plans as well. Okay, any other comments or questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
And new business C, motion to approve the waiver request from Gambone Street Commercial Development. That's,
This is a
The-
land development project, and with the applicant, yes, applicant, I'm guessing attorney,
Engineer.
engineer. Somebody's here
I'm with
on
you.
behalf of the applicant to explain to the board
Come on up.
what they're asking for, and, Mr. Borthwick again is here, and he has reviewed their waiver request, so if the board is so inclined, it will be a couple of motions after the presentation.
I apologize, can I put this up in front just so
Yeah.
you can see? Steve McGrady with Land Cooler, I'm the project manager for the State Street development. We were in front of the planning commission, a couple of weeks ago, we requested preliminary plan approval only. So we're here tonight to request preliminary plan approval, as well as a recommendation and approval on our waiver request as well. And I believe our waiver requests are in the packet that you have in front of you. We're just here tonight for preliminary plan approval. We do have a staff session set up Friday to go through some of the items on the land development letter, as well as discuss the project moving forward with the township. But tonight, it's strictly preliminary land development approval is what we would request, as well as to answer any questions you had on the waiver request letter that is in your packets.
Can you just explain exactly what the preliminary plan approval approves?
Sure.
You know, because I know there's preliminary plan approval and preliminary final plan approval.
Yes.
There's two different categories.
So, I'm not an attorney, but I believe preliminary just gives us vested rights under the code. So ultimately, what it does is it locks in our proposal, our uses based on the current code, but we do not go to construction until we have all outstanding approvals. It really gives, from a developer standpoint, all the tenants the opportunity to start moving the project forward. So they can start looking at facade, their building coverage, stuff like that.
And there's,
So, I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna jump in, there would still be a resolution that I've prepared. It's not ready to be signed yet, it will be tomorrow morning, I still needed some additional items that will be provided hopefully tonight/tomorrow morning. But just for the board, that would have conditions regarding escrow, stormwater management, etc. But the applicant would have the opportunity to review as well. And Mr. Borthwick has reviewed my draft, and Mr. Weand will as well, and certainly the applicant, but just to be assured, there will be a resolution accompanying this to make sure the township rights are protected as well. But as he said, it's locking in the code as it is, so.
And just to answer your question again, so we would make another submission back to the township, and the township
Yes.
engineer would
Right.
review those based on final plan requirements.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
There is one thing I'd like to point out though, because I believe the last time we were here was unanimous that everybody wanted the cul-de-sac along North State Street. So if you do look at the rendering that's right below me, there is a cul-de-sac that is
That's
along
what I
North
was
State
trying
Street.
to look at.
So, I saw your eyes going down, so I figured it was a good opportunity, and I apologize for everybody in the audience, but the developer of North State Street has purchased the adjacent property, which allows us to put a cul-de-sac up the northern part of North State Street. So what this allows us to do is limit any traffic from the commercial center from going up into the residential neighborhood. And that was the feedback that we got from the township, so we did update our plans, and that is included with the preliminary plans that we submitted back to the township.
We do have an understanding there will be a cul-de-sac there.
Absolutely, and with preliminary plan approval, it locks in the cul-de-sacs, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just for the public, just in case the public wasn't aware of where this actual location is, and since you guys cannot see this sign we're actually showing, this is the Upland Square section. You have West is gonna get a couple of new developments, commercial. We're getting a church unfortunately, but that's where we're getting. North State Street, obviously PennDOT wanted us to open it, but all along we have stuck with the original proposal that we were a cul-de-sac there. So it will not affect any of the residents that are right on that road. The feed will not go down. All the feed still will continue to go where it's at now, and it'll bottleneck as it has been. So I will allow, is anybody from the public here have a question or something that wanted to ask about this development?
I have a couple questions.
Name and address, please.
Stephen Leader, 1134 North State Street.
Go right ahead.
Is this cul-de-sac gonna be big enough to take care of oversized loads for tractor trailers? They do mistake and come down State Street still, and do cause problems when there's accidents on 100. They try and find alternate routes. So,
Sure, and what I can say is, it's a cul-de-sac.
what's just like size-wise?
It has a.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like a
No, I
tractor
do, the
trailer
turning
needs to be
radius.
able to spin around.
Yeah, I believe it's
Plenty of
a
trash trucks they're losing their turnaround.
50-foot radius.
Yeah.
So it's a code compliant, and do you mind if I come to you?
Yeah, that's
Just so I can
fine.
show you.
50-foot radius?
50-foot radius of the cul-de-sac.
That means it's half the circle, the radius is half the circle. That's probably the diameter. And then he kept on going up this. And that's circumference when he goes like that, so like. Engineers talking about the difference kind of concerning what they're saying.
So they're actually going a little bit bigger. We could, we prefer to PennDOT, so.
We've lost all the public comment here.
Alright. Let me bring that back to up the front here so we
Right,
can,
can we ask the public comment be open to the public
We
so that
can't
the
do
public
that.
can see it here? Thank you. So sir, if you wanna come up with your question, because there may be other people in the room that have the same question.
No, there's new resolution now that's like, I didn't realize that new property was purchased across the street from me, that the Newman estate was purchased. So now that's on this, that's gonna be included.
No, it's not being developed, it's just an additional.
Well, the cul-de-sac's going in.
No, it's not zoned for that. It's
Well,
zoned
that's
for
what you say now.
Well, there's no access to it.
It's zoned residential, and it
Correct.
sits up higher than the commercial development, so there's no
There's no way to
practical way you
integrate
can
it
make a
with it.
connection.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
alright. Anybody from the commissioners have a question on this new plan? Again, preliminary approval,
Right, I would
more
suggest going through
resolutions.
the waiver.
We still have to go through all the things. Are we going through each one of these waivers, or are we gonna go just as a group?
I can answer any questions you have if you go through the waivers, if there's anything specific that you wanted to bring up.
That's just
I
like
do believe
setbacks.
LTL wrote a letter with
Yeah,
their
it's in
thoughts
here.
on some of the waivers as well.
This one's pipes and fill.
And again, I
Mark,
don't
you wanna
want,
go through each one of these real quick?
If you'd like me to, certainly I can.
Just so the public reads it.
Sure. So the first waiver they're requesting is from stormwater management, and so will be the next, 3 or 4. Section 301-46, it requires a minimum orifice size, to be 3 inches in the BMP or the basin. And right now, their plans have a 1-inch orifice, but that meets the DEP standard, so it's still meeting, the MRC, basin requirements, so, they wouldn't be able to meet DEP with keeping ours, so we can support that waiver. Section 301-52, C-2, requires all pipes to be reinforced concrete. This one is kind of an older requirement. They're proposing to put in, HDPE pipe, which has the same service life as concrete and is, pretty standard installation nowadays. So again, we can support that waiver. And they're still using concrete in the basin as well. The section 301-53C, they require grading setback from the property line be 10 feet. For the most part, they are compliant with that, but they do have some pretty steep grading, particularly to avoid a grading or a retaining wall. They are changing the slopes there, and they'll be within 5 feet of that property. So they're maximizing what they can there. So again, we can support that waiver in lieu of a large retaining wall. The last one from stormwater, 301-53G. Requires cut and fill slopes to be not steeper than 4-1, and they're proposing that they can use 3-1, and primarily, this again reduces the grading that they would need to keep them further away from the property line, and it's also maintained by, typical lawn equipment. So again, where they have that shown, we could support this waiver. Any questions on the stormwater waivers?
Any questions for the board? No, go ahead.
They request a handful of waivers from the subdivision and land development ordinance, section 310-7C1-C, which the plan is supposed to depict existing well and lot septic systems. And the reason for this is that all of the septic systems that are in that area or catchment, they're going to be removed, so it's not that critical that they're shown on the plans, and it helps them with kind of manage their plan size or plan sheet size set. So again, we could support this waiver. Section 310-11A-1 requires plans to show the location of existing utility lines up to a distance of 100 feet outside of the tract. Again, they show the utilities on the property and going off the property, and they miss in between, but they are showing details at the connection points. Again, just to kind of facilitate plan management on that side of things. So, they're showing everything that really matters with the details. So again, we could support that waiver. Section 310-19D-2, which requires North State Street to be widened to 15 feet from the center line of the road along the property frontage. This one is kind of, it stems from potential stuff that we have to talk about at a staff meeting that may go away. So this one, we'll recommend the waiver that they don't need to widen it, and I think it's going to come out in some of the next design steps with the township where it's not even going to come into play. So that there really won't be a need to widen that section of North State Street. It might not even be there, but we have to work through that to determine that. Section 310-21B-1, requiring curbing along all of the roadways. So there's no curbing along North State Street or Upland Square Drive. So again, it kind of fits in with the surrounding area. So again, we could support that waiver. Section 310-37D, which requires street trees and shade trees to be planted at certain rates throughout the proposed development. So they've got some existing site restrictions keeping them from planting the trees. So this is a kind of, I'll call it a partial waiver, where they're doing what they can with what they have. So they're planting the maximum amount that they can within that range. So it's a reduction of the trees, not a no tree planting scenario. So again, we could support this waiver. Section 310-37F2A2. This requires, again, canopy trees for every 8 parking spaces. In this case, there wasn't enough room in Upper Pottsgrove Township to plant these, so they met and discussed with West Pottsgrove, and they are allowing them to plant 5 of that 8 requirement in West Pottsgrove Township. So again, it's a location, quantity I believe they meet. So again, we could support this waiver. Section 310-37G1, which requires additional canopy trees for every 50 feet of building facade. Again, just given the site conditions and where they're at, they're just proposing a different rate of trees. They're gonna go 18 foot tall for every 20 feet along the building facade, still giving the intent of the ordinance with the screenings. So again, we could support that waiver. A lot of these waivers, if you'll see, it's not a do nothing, it's a partial. They're trying to do the best with what they have, so they're just asking for leniency to reduce what they have. That's all the waivers that they've requested at this time.
Any questions or comments? No? Thank you very much. Do you have any more?
No, but I'll answer any questions that anybody has.
Any other questions?
Would the board consider a fee in lieu of trees?
Could you speak up, please? I can't get you.
I just ask you if the Board of Commissioners would consider a fee in lieu of those trees that could not be planted.
What type of fee? What do you mean? As in,
I can speak to the full Borough of Pottstown, for every tree that can't be planted as required, they submit a $500 fee in lieu of. And then you could
I don't
put
know
that,
if we have an ordinance for that, we have to have in the subdivision and land development, a fee in lieu ordinance that we don't have.
oh, okay.
There's for other things, I don't know specifically for landscaping.
keep that in mind, because we're doing the ordinances. We can't do
Really?
ordinances. Not yet, not now. That's gonna be in the future.
Something to add to the list.
Something to add to the list. Alright, any other comments or questions? Alright, I need a vote. Go
Do
ahead.
we have an official motion? I think,
I would suggest, a motion to grant preliminary, land development waiver contingent on recommendation letters, and then a separate motion to grant the 7 waivers requested. So
So
you'll have
two,
two
you know,
separate
separate
motions.
motions. Okay, so, what would the motion be, so I,
One's
who's
land,
first, who's
Land
land?
development, grant preliminary land
I'll
development.
make that.
Alright, I need a motion to grant the preliminary development. One, I need a second.
second,
Second. Any questions on that particular one? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? That motion is passed. I need a second motion on the granting of the waivers.
The 7
individually,
requested
7 requested waivers.
We don't have to go through each one, I
Right.
think Mark covered that.
Yeah, we'll go through them as a group. I needed a motion for that.
and that's contingent upon the engineer's letter.
Correct.
Right, I make that
Correct,
motion.
it's a resolution.
And the resolution that will be created. I need a second.
I'll second it.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Okay.
Any opposed? That motion passes as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
And should I send the resolution your way or attorney's way, your way?
You have Don Guthrie's email address?
Yes.
Send it to him, please.
You got it.
All right, that brings us